Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold stream. Today we're talking about arguably the best deck currently in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, that is Purrely. I know, it wasn't Kashtira, who would have thought? But, honestly, I have been seeing some very interesting lists running around, and I love Shaddolls, so I decided, F it, let's play Shaddolls. So here is the list that I have thrown together, specifically using Shaddolls, and this very interesting package utilizing the Shaddolls, Magicalized Fusion, and Verti Anaconda in order to go into Winda on the opponent, on your end board, to basically end on Winda and a Noir, which is pretty difficult for most people to out, because either you can Kaiju the Noir and actually have, the Kaiju on the Noir, or you can deal with Winda, which, then you can special summon. Then you have to deal with Noir. You see the point, right? So let's quickly do the card by card and the explanation. So starting off with the Purrelys, maxing out on all of the cards except for Stray Street. And the reason for this is very simple. It's not very good. It doesn't really allow you to get additional cards into rotation. It's not really going to replace itself. It's just kind of a dead card if you end up seeing it going first, unless your opponent has a hand trap, in which case maybe that Stray Street does something. I don't necessarily agree or disagree with this idea, but this was taken from this was kind of a modified list from a tournament where I saw multiple of these lists, but that's one of the things that they decided not to include, and I wanted to test it, and honestly, yeah, Stray Street wasn't all that necessary. It was nice, but honestly, it was much better just to have additional resources off of the Shaddolls to search additional cards and the like. So let's quickly go through the rest of these. Yeah, it's literally just a max out of all of the Purrely cards, except for Yeep. We're playing one Yeep. As for the rest of the cards, we're playing 2 Maxi, 2 Ash Blossom, and 2 Imperm. I kind of wanted just some of each of these. There were reasons for each of them, but there wasn't any other card that I really wanted to cut, so I just decided to cut down on one piece of all of the hand traps, but I did definitely want all of them, and they all came up a lot, right? Maxi is just super good, we all know that. Ash Blossom was mostly in here to out Maxi. I probably should have cut it realistically. It wasn't ever great, but it was okay. Yeah, I think Imperm most of the time would have been better. Maxi just doesn't resolve all that much, so I didn't really want to play 3 of this. So yeah, this is what I ended up on. 2/2 just felt better. And then we are playing, of course, the one Magicalized Fusion. We're playing 3 Shaddoll Hedgehog, as well as 1 Squamata and 1 Beast, because Hedgehog, when sent to the graveyard for card effect, which these do discard for card effect, you then get to search out something like a Beast or a Squamata, and then that can search out can get you an additional card. So that's kind of the engine there. Also, on top of that, because the Shaddolls are optional effects, they can chain block your Purrelys, which is why you would play them instead of something like the Dark Worlds. So the Dark Worlds could be played in this slot as well as an additional discard engine, but that does cut off the Winda as your end board. So that's why we're also playing the Shaddolls, which I think is pretty cool. Moving on, we have ourselves the 2 Triple Tactics Talents. We have ourselves 2 Thrust, as well as 1 apiece of Herald of the Abyss, as well as a Dimensional Barrier for Thrust targets. As for the extra, it's pretty interesting. As I mentioned previously, we're running the 1 El Shaddoll Winda, we're running the 1 Predaplant Verti Anaconda as well, and then of course we're running 1 Princess Sprite, 1 Assembled Nightingale, 1 Fuko. Fuko is very nice for instances where you want to have an unaffected monster to go into Zeus. Like for example, if your opponent has a Noir that can spin away a card, if they've chosen not to spin away a card and you have 2 level 1s, you can go Fuko, attack into something, and then make Zeus to kind of deal with the board as best as you can. And then we are playing 1 apiece of Happiness, Beauty, and then Zeus and Downard as well. But we are playing 2 Plump and 2 Noir. Yeah, I never really needed the extra Happiness nor Beauty, and as you can tell, we're not playing the Pot of Prosperity, so it's not really that big of a deal cutting 1 apiece of these. Moving on, we are also running 1 Anima as well as 1 Azalea. And the reason for this is pretty simple, but Anima is just the best of the Link 1s. It being a dark as well as just a good Link 1 is pretty nice. You're never really going to try and end on a Purrely into a Link Karibo, so it's much better just to play Anima, and if your opponent doesn't play around it, there you go, you get a free steal. And then Azalea is also very nice, just being able to deal with opponent's cards. Yeah, it's just strong. This will eventually probably be SP Little Knight or something like that, but that's the list. Let's hop into the duels and show you how this deck performed. Alright, and here we are going second, and this shows you the power of just having the Shaddoll engine with you. But as you can see, my opponent is on Mathmech, or I guess it's just Cyber's Pile at this point. It's not really Mathmech as much as it is literally just Cyber's Pile. I went to the bathroom during this. I don't have anything to say about it. It's just Mathmech stuff. We go for the Alum Version, we activate the Alum Version, we search out an addition, we go for the normal summon of Diameter, because we already drew the Diameter, we then link off into Splash Mage, but then we go and activate the Splash Mage, and we special summon the guy, and then we go to Transco, you know. Yeah, Heat Soul, great, fantastic. Heat Soul, draw a card. We're going to go for the addition here, we're going to activate the equation, we're going to special summon out another guy, and then we're going to go to the Dark Fluid. Woo, Dark Fluid. Cool. Anyway, we know of 2 interactions my opponent has, and during the draw phase, I am going to start playing the game. The reason for this is to play around Droll. That's it. Just make sure that if you draw something like a Pretty Memory, or a Sleepy Memory, or if your opponent has cards that you can target with something like a Delicious or a Happy, play in the draw phase. It's just easier for everyone, and you can play around the Droll without really forcing out anything. So yeah. Also, a lot of things like activate in the main phase only or stuff like that. So, there's that. We're going to start with the Pretty Memory because I did end up drawing that, which is pretty nice. So yeah, we're going to start with that. We also have this Triple Tactics Thrust. And I know what you're saying. Why would I not play in the main phase to play around that Triple Tactics Thrust? Well, again, Droll. That's basically it. Also, it doesn't really matter if they do end up going for, like, activations in the draw phase, because my Thrust is still going to be able to actually get something for me there. Like, for example, we can still grab the Herald of the Abyss if we wanted to. But I also know that most likely they're going to negate during a main phase with the set Superfactorial. So with the set Superfactorial, I'm like, okay, even if they do activate the Superfactorial to send cards to the graveyard, they're probably going to try and negate something like a My Friend Purrely or whatever it may be. So I can still go for the Triple Tactics to go for the talents instead of, or off of the Thrust. So I'm not really that torn up about like playing in the draw phase. But we're going to go and send with Squamata as well as go for the Purrely to reveal some cards. We're going to send the Hedgehog, obviously, to grab up the Beast, and we reveal the Happy Memory, which is great for us, so we're going to grab that to hand. Here we can activate the Hedgehog to grab up Beast as well, and now we can activate the Happy Memory and send it to, or special summon out a Purrely. The Purrely is going to send the Beast, the Happy Memory sends the Beast, so we now get to draw a card, and we draw into Sleepy Memory, which is fantastic, and we also reveal off the top a Pretty Memory as well, which is even better. Pretty Memory just happens to be the best one here, because now we can actually, like, attach a material here. We go for the Purrely, and here is where they decided to go for the Imperm. I don't necessarily disagree with this, but I also definitely would have held this, because the Purrely isn't really going to do a whole lot here, but I guess they don't really know. But I think, like, with the amount of monsters that I currently have on my field, I feel like this Imperm's just not really worth it. I feel like it would have been better to hit almost just nothing and just kind of wait. So, yeah. I think you're kind of late on this. Anyway, but not a bad Imperm, all things considered. They're now going to go for the Superfactorial. I don't really have anything else. I don't activate the Sleepy Memory because at this point I'm like, I can just make Zeus, right? Like, my whole plan is just, I'm just going to make Zeus. And I see that they fire off the Superfactorial, and I'm like, yeah, I just kind of want to keep that additional hand, or card in hand, so that at the very least I can either go, like, normal summon a Purrely, activate the My Friend Purrely, or activate the Triple Tactics Thrust and have that most likely resolve. But my opponent decides to go for the Laplation here, still in the draw phase, which is a little bit interesting. But yeah, activate the Laplation, ripping the Sleepy Memory out of my hand and hitting one of the Purrelys. They're also going to send the Aggregator to the graveyard off of the Dark Fluid and to negate my Purrely. But that doesn't really matter because I can just go Assembled Nightingale, attack him directly, and make Zeus. And my opponent realizes that and just scoops it up. I still have a My Friend Purrely, I still have the Triple Tactics Thrust, and I still have the normal summon of the regular Purrely, so yeah, I'm pretty much good there. Good game. Shaddolls. Alright, so how does this deck perform going first? Well, this isn't exactly the greatest of hands, but maybe we can get something off of this. We're going to start with the My Friend. We're going to activate the effect, and we're going to reveal 3 Purrelys. And the reason for this is because Purrely just happens to be the best one for us here. We end up grabbing the Happy Memory, which is fantastic. So we're going to grab another Happy Memory. We're going to special summon out the Purrely. Purrely effect is going to grab up the Yeep. And then we're going to activate a second Happy to grab up another Purrely. Now we don't really have anything because we already pitched the Magical Eyes Fusion. So there's not a whole lot for us here. But hopefully we can reveal something off of this. We don't, but that's okay. We're going to go for the Princess Sprite and hope that we hit anything here. We kind of need something good. And it's a Pretty Memory, which is... that's pretty good. We're going to go for the Purrely, and I'm like, okay, third time's the charm, right? It's a Maxi, it's an Imperm, and of course we get the Delicious Memory, where you're just better. Now we already have the Yeep, so I'm feeling pretty good. We're going to go for the Plump here. We're just going to attach it as a material, and then we're going to go for the Purrely to attach a, or to go for the Beauty. So Purrely now has the, we go into the Beauty, we have the Plump, and we have the set Yeep. Realistically, both of these should be in defense. Playing in a Purrely meta, you really shouldn't put your stuff in attack position. This is a big mistake on my part. I ended up losing a Purrely mirror match because of the fact that I put things into attack position that I just didn't need to do. Being able to give your opponent access to basically the OTK with Happy Memory as well as the Delicious Memory just isn't worth it. There's no reason for you to put things in attack position. The extra 500 attack isn't going to matter here. But during the draw phase, I decided to activate the Plump here. Maybe I should have waited till the main phase, but yeah, they end up imperming this anyway. But yeah, it's whatever. I guess I should have waited to see like what my opponent was playing to see if like, hey, Wraith Soth comes down. Maybe they wouldn't have activated the Imperm. They probably would have before they activated the Wraith Soth, so I don't think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, maybe I could have done something there. They're gonna go and normal or special summon out to the Unicorn, and here's the thing. I decided to go for the Noir here. Reason being, I don't want this Unicorn on the field. It's scary. So I'm just going to shuffle it away. Yes, I become affected, but who cares when I can just shuffle away another card and my opponent concedes. Honestly, especially against Kashtira, you should just be shuffling away all of their monsters. They can't really do anything, especially if you see them like search out a specific card, or if they end up special summoning something that is particularly weak. For example, if it's a special summon Fenris, you're probably good to just like shuffle it away, and you know that they're not going to have much more like a Unicorn, right? Unless they're a good player, which they're not going to be. So just activate your Noirs, please. All right, and here we are once again going first, and it's not the greatest of hands. If this My Friend Purrely doesn't go through, we're probably screwed. But it does, and we get the 3 delicious memories. So I'm feeling pretty good here. We're going to go for the Purrely, and we end up revealing a Happy Memory, which is pretty nice. So we're going to go and activate our Delicious, which will grab a Purrely, and then we'll grab the Yeep. We're going to go and immediately go into Plump off of this, and attach a card as material. Then we're going to go for the Happy Memory, to which they actually ash this, which is very weird that they held the ash all the way till now, because if I had another quick play, that wouldn't have really been that great of an idea. But it ends up being really strong for them here, so I just kind of have to set to 2 and activate Plump and pass. I don't have enough materials in the grave to actually do anything there, so it was a pretty good ash, but Fenrir. Okay, so here's the thing. This is why I think Noir is very powerful. So we're going to activate the Noir and shuffle away the Fenrir here. And then my opponent goes for Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires is going to grab up a Nadir Servant. Huh? Grabbing Entis. Okay. Well, maybe going for Noir here wasn't the greatest of ideas. But that's fine. We're going to grab back 2 cards, and kind of interesting. I don't know what my opponent is. Oh, it's stunned. Oh, it's stunned. Oh, it's stunned. Oh, it's stunned. Remember, I did actually protect my Purrely from battle damage with the Delicious Memory, so that did end up happening. So we still get to keep the Purrely, which matters, as you will see. So we do have the Imperm, and I just go to the main phase and then Imperm the Pachycephalo. There's not really any reason to do anything in the standby phase or the draw phase, but we end up getting the Pretty Memory here. And I believe I really wanted the Pretty Memory. Now I do end up misplaying. I actually activate the Purrely and then chain to it the Pretty Memory. Should not have done this. Don't do this. Reason being, the reason that this is bad is because I'm supposed to actually reveal the Pretty Memory to try and force out this back row so that I can go for an additional play. But I end up misclicking and chaining instead of actually revealing, because it's not exactly the most easy to understand. But that's fine. I just go for the happiness, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can get something off of this. We're gonna grab up the Lily or the Purrely as well, and then I activate the effect of the Purrely and Necro Value, so it doesn't do anything. So I just proceed to the battle phase and see if this actually is like a stun card, like a skill drain or something along those lines. And it's not. It's Dogmatic Punishment, which actually is so bad for my opponent because we get to go for Happy Memory, we get to attach it with the Happiness, and then we also get to attach with the Delicious. So I'm now really boosted, and we get 2 additional attacks on monsters. That's right, additional. Also, on top of that, they don't get to send Entis to pop again, so they have to send Garura to just draw a card. Like, cool. At this point, the game is over. I literally have lethal on board, and the reason for this is because Happiness is a dumb card. I don't decide to go for the Happy Memory here. I decided to go for the Delicious Memory because it's funnier, and I just get the OTK no matter what. I grab there, but I decided to go for the Delicious Memory here. It does kind of give me 1 less search, but honestly, it doesn't matter. They're gone anyway. I grab Sleeping Memory as well, and yeah, the game is well and truly over. Good game. Alright, here we are going first, and I'm just going to spoil this game for you. I get evenly matched twice in this game, so do keep that in mind as we go through this. So we're going to start off here with the Purrely, which my opponent will immediately imperm. I'm like, that's fine. And I know what you're saying, why didn't you activate the Delicious in the draw phase? Because you can't. Delicious Memory is one of the ones that doesn't need a target on the field, so there you go. My opponent goes for the Maxi here, and I'm like, okay, we do have to play into the Maxi. Let's see what we can do. We do have Imperm, we do have the Yeep, we do get to pitch with the Hedgehog, so I'm feeling pretty okay. So we're going to go for the Purrely, as well as we're going to Chain Block, which is pretty nice. So we get to grab up the Squamata as well as the My Friend. So we're going to go for the My Friend, we're going to activate the effect, we're going to grab up to the hand the Sleeping Memory, so that we have an additional card for follow-up. So we're then going to go for the Plump, obviously, and we're going to activate the Plump effect, or sorry, we're going to activate the Sleeping Memory effect just to attach to the Plump so that we can get an additional material onto our Noir. We're going to set to and pass, and yeah, it's not great. And then I draw Pretty Memory, and I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty good. This is such a good draw. We now have like additional follow-up, and my opponent reveals that they are on Kashtira, so I'm like, okay, yeah, we're totally fine. And then they go to the battle phase, and I go, okay, I'm going to get as many materials onto this Plump as I can, and then go into Noir and just like Noir pass. I also want as much in the grave as I can get, so that's why I decided to do that when I did. So yeah. Out comes Ogre, and I go, oh, their hand is bad, because they just special summoned an Ogre. 100% we're spinning this. 100% we're spinning this one as well. Yeah, just get them out of here. They decide to pass. I'm like, okay. They probably have some sort of follow-up, but it's not like a Kashtira in their hand, unless it's like a normal summon, like a Planet Pathfinder or something along those lines. And because they normal summoned the Arise Heart, I'm almost certain that they have a Theosis in their hand, which is why I'm shuffling things away. As soon as I see that normal summon of the Arise Heart, I'm like, yeah, guarantee they have the Theosis. But we get to go Squamata, dump the Hedgehog, as well as we end up revealing Sleepy Memory. Pretty nice. We're going to grab the Beast here, and then we're going to go for the Pretty Memory. We're going to go for the Purrely. We're going to dump the Beast. We're going to go Beast, grab the Delicious Memory, and then we're going to activate the Delicious Memory, and we're going to summon another Purrely, and we're going to activate that effect, and we're going to reveal off of the top of the Happy Memory, and I'm like, yes, this is fantastic. This is all happening in draw phase, by the way. Now we can go for the My Friend Purrely. Grab another Happy Memory. We're going to go for the Plump here. I'm just trying to find as much damage as I can. And now we get to go for the Happy Memory. And I go, yeah, I can't really do much here. So I actually just go for the Plump here, attach additional materials. And then I go for the Happy Memory. We're going to attach another material to it. And then we go for the Noir. Again, it's just like as much damage as I can get. We go for the Happy Memory. We get an additional search. We search for the Delicious Memory. And then even the match 2, Electric Boogaloo. And I decided to activate my Noir just to get the materials off of it and shuffle away, I think. Just to kind of give them like a useless card. And I shuffle away the Maxi because I'm like, yeah, you can have that, whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. We're going to go for the Yeep to just shuffle back some more cards so that I have them. And we do have the ability to draw 2 off of this Sleepy Memory. And we draw a Purrely, or a Purrely and an Ash Blossom. And my opponent reveals Unicorn, another Rise Heart, and another set card. And I'm like, no. None of that is going through. Absolutely get out of here. And yeah, I reveal the Delicious, and my opponent just concedes at that point. Noir is very strong, and not for why a lot of people use it. And we're back, and honestly, this deck is so very good. I actually really enjoy the Shaddoll engine, specifically being able to recur additional cards, and specifically Chain Block, which is very nice. It doesn't come up a lot where, like, Ash Blossom is something that they're going to use on something like your Purrelys that end up getting summoned, but it's still something that's nice to have, just in case there's, like, I don't know, just in case they do end up trying to Ash it or something along those lines. But more specifically, it is nice just to refill that hand, right? Which is, again, very strong. And on top of that, the Magicalized Fusion never came up in the duels that I ended up playing, but I did see what it ended up doing, and the end board is quite impressive. It's a Verite Anaconda, which isn't great, but it's Winda and a Noir on top of the Verite Anaconda, which is incredibly powerful, and not a lot of decks are going to be able to out something as powerful as that, which is pretty cool. Yeah, honestly, I did like the list. I thought it was very strong, and being able to actually draw, or not draw, but like search out those additional cards was very nice. I honestly wanted to play more Shaddolls. The list that I took from was playing 3 Squamata, which is pretty good if you ask me. But the reason that they were playing it was because there was no Maxi, so obviously they just, like, you take out the 2 Maxis. They also took out Ash, and they played 3 Infip, the 3 Squamata, and I think something else as well. But alas, this is the list I came up with. Honestly, the deck performed pretty well, and it's still probably the best deck. And as you saw against those Kashtira players, yeah, it wasn't exactly great. Also, one thing, against Kashtira, there is a way to just go for Zeus without activating an effect, or a monster effect, which is, like, just if you have 2 of your quick plays, you can do that. Or you could just, like, if you have a quick play and a normal summon, you can go, like, quick play, pitch a card, normal summon, and then you go into your Assembled Nightingale, or you can go into Fuko, which is unaffected, which makes it so that Zeus is even more powerful, because, like, you basically go immediately into Zeus, and your opponent doesn't really have a chance to respond before you can also chain to whatever they activate, which is pretty cool. But you can also go Assembled into Downward into Zeus and just, you know, double wipe, which is pretty strong against Kashtira, especially since you can do that without activating an effect, which they would then trigger. So there you go. As for the rest of the list, yeah, it's just a nice, clean list. I did miss the Stray Street a few times, but not that big of a deal, honestly. Most of the time, the reason that I missed it was because of the Purrely. So I'd have Lily, and I wouldn't really be able to do anything with it because I'd already have, like, a Yeep in my hand, or, you know, the My Friend or something like that. So it was just kind of like a dead card. Like, it didn't really do much. But alas, there you go. But that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, like this video on the show, appreciate it. And if you want to check out more content like this, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.